we're talking about volunteers, and Mr. J. Lee was talking about volunteers this morning. There's a lot of different areas in our church that you can be a part of, get volunteered, get plugged into. I want to encourage you to do that, because it's not about helping the church do stuff. It is about you being used by God. And once you begin to be used by God, you will have a greater understanding of this world and how God can use you to do really cool stuff. Now, guys, it's not comfortable being used by God. It's not always fun sometimes being used by God. Keith, I'm going to pick on Keith for instance. Keith gets here every Sunday morning at between 7:15 and 7:30. And part of what Keith does is clean up all the messes that we've left in between Thursday and Sunday. And he makes sure that all the tables are moved and everything. That's not always fun every morning. But that's something that he does because God calls him to do that. Whenever God calls you to do something, it's more likely than not, that it's going to be uncomfortable. I remember, I told the first service this, I was called to preach at the age of 14. I was really young when I started preaching. And my very first sermon that I preached on, God told me very clearly that I was to preach on tithing. That was my first sermon I ever preached on. So I'm 14 years old, talking to a bunch of 60 and 70-year-old people, telling them what they need to do with their money. And I wasn't even hardly making money then. The very second sermon that I ever preached as a 14-year-old was on marriage. Yeah. I had absolutely no clue what I was talking about. But it was very important for me to do that because God showed me at the age of 14 that I don't have to know how to do it all. That if I will trust Him, He will show me and tell me what needs to be done. The same is true in your life when it comes to volunteering and being a part of church. It's not always going to fit you like you think it should. But just be obedient, and you'll be amazed at what God can do with you. All right?